The parable of a sower appears in Matthew 13 at the very beginning, and Jesus first gives a very simple account, like he says, he sowed and some seed fell by the wayside, and the bird, they came and devoured them. It goes on, but when we go to verse 18, the disciples say, what does this mean? I don't understand. But can you explain? And then Jesus says, well, yeah. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is he who receives the seed by the wayside. Okay, this is like 90% of the population. Of course, everybody hears it. Not everybody. Everybody who is actually listening a little bit, who has gone at least once to church, at least for a wedding or a burial, has heard about Jesus Christ and about the good news. And the major reason why people don't want to accept it or receive it is that, well, nobody wants to change. Why would you want to be considered a sinner? Why would you actually even believe that you should change the way of life? And this has been true throughout millennia because, well, simply, we like what you're doing, right? You still want to go home and you want to brutalize your kids, you want to beat your wife, you want to rape, murder, you want to do all these cool things that all the world is doing. Why should you actually listen to anyone say that you have to be a good person? Or at least try to live with moral principles. Now you can say, okay, well, I don't do all these things, I have moral principles. Then can you actually tell me at the end of your life what is the result of it? Well, doing good, that's kind of very subjective. But since everybody understands that the world has come out of nothing, at least if you believe that science is somewhat accurate and the Big Bang might have happened, which is actually very likely according to scientific discoveries, then basically there might be something that was before the Big Bang. And if the world was created, there must have been something outside of the world that created it. So if there is a God, don't you think it's a good idea to start scratching and thinking about that maybe there is something more to this world and to this life? Because if it ends, is there something that comes just after, like physical death? Now you can say, well, I dismiss it, I don't care, I'll take my chances, I got 50-50. Well, I would say you go to the bank with $1 trillion, it's a big sum of pognon, money, and then the banker says, well, I have a good placement for you. But there's a catch. There's always a little catch. You have a 50-50 chance to lose everything. Right? Interesting. That's a good opportunity to invest the money right there. Knowing what bankers say today, which they usually guarantee 100% return or whatever, they always guarantee that you're going to get your money back. At least you're not going to lose the principal, right? Maybe you're not going to make a lot of money, but you can invest in the bank. It's going to give you some kind of return. If you go to the banker and he tells you you got a 50-50 chance, you're going to say you're out of your mind. I'm going to go somewhere else. This is the kind of gamble you're actually doing with your life if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. Now you can say, well, Jesus Christ, a 50-50 chance. Considering that the Big Bang is not just a theory anymore, but it's more and more proven by scientific facts, I would say maybe it's more like 75 to 80% chance to be right. And when you consider also all the information you have about various apologists, including Frank Turek, for example, and other people out there. I think the likelihood for God to be real and for Jesus to be really the Son of God is a lot higher than your 50-50 chance that there might be nothing on the other side. But hey, the parable of a sower is not given just for fun. A lot of people are going to hear the gospel and they're just going to dismiss it because, well, like the other said, well, I'd like to burn babies on a hot plate like Moloch, like the old gods, or I don't care about doing whatever I want because I can always blame it on some other deity that I came up with because I don't want to be responsible for my own actions. I want to give the responsibility to somebody else. This is why there were so many gods in the old world. Simply because, well, if it doesn't rain, you blame it on the god because the god is not happy. There's a god for rain. You have to give some offering and then hopefully it's going to rain. You don't have enough babies. Well, you're going to create another god that allows you to have orgies and burn babies so that you can actually get into your little, fun zone. Well, actually, you wanted to have the fun zone, so you created a god that actually matches your desires, basically, etc. So, this is the way you want to live? Well, nobody can stop you from doing that. Just that there is accountability. At the end, you will be judged for what you're doing. And it doesn't mean that you cannot change the way you're living your life, but you still need to make a choice. Being a Christian, believing in Jesus Christ, means that you are condemned if you continue doing what you're doing. However, you can still receive forgiveness and get salvation if you stop what you're doing, which is actually repentance. Repentance is not just say, oh, I'm sorry. Repentance is to say, not only I'm sorry, but I'm not going back to this old life. I'm a new creation. I'm a new life now through Jesus Christ, and from now on I'm going to make this time worthwhile following the teachings that are in the Bible. Okay, that's basically it, and that's for this first part of the parable of the sowers. I'm going to be making another part soon, and if you believe in Jesus Christ, well, we'll meet someday.